Hi, welcome to the DCI podcast. I am David Cohen, president of DCI Consulting Group.
Hi, my name is Joanna Colosimo, and I'm the director of EEO compliance here at DCI. We're going to chat with you a little bit today about OFCCP, some trends, what we're hearing in the Washington, D.C. area about what's happening with the enforcement agency. So one thing that is new, the budget, the fiscal year 2018 budget came out, Dave, and in that budget there was a proposal to merge OFCCP with EEOC in the coming years, to completely get rid of OFCCP and have that under the umbrella of EEOC. So what are you hearing about that?
Yeah, so this is not the first time that there's been a call to merge these two federal agencies. We kind of heard rumblings about it before the budget came out, but now that the president's proposed budget is out, as you see in 2019 there is zero budget for OFCCP, and that in 2018 the two agencies would work together to transition over to EEOC. Here's my prediction. I don't think it's going to happen. And the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is you can't do this via the budget process. Because 503 and VEVRA are legislative, you have to get Congress to transfer authority of VEVRA and 503 from DOL over to EEOC, and that's a heavy lift. And one thing that we know is Congress isn't doing much of anything in terms of passing legislation. And I think it's unlikely you're going to get enough Democrats and Republicans to vote to transfer this authority. And the reason why is that you've got the Chamber of Commerce that came out against this. The Institute came out against this. NILG came out against this. And then you have the civil rights groups against this.
Absolutely. These are uncommon allies coming together, business groups, civil rights groups, both opposing this.
Yeah. So I think it's probably dead on arrival. It's not going to happen. But in the meantime, in the budget, the proposed budget calls for really probably an increased enforcement on systemic compensation discrimination. They said 35% of cases will be comp. And these two regional skilled centers, one in San Francisco, one in New York. San Francisco will focus on tech. New York will focus on financial. So I think the budget is aspirational, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll probably see a little bit of a budget cut for OFCCP, but I think that we will see continued enforcement, audits, and things like that.
And actually, speaking of audits, I think from my perspective, as we deal as a firm with supporting many clients and their audits, we've really not seen any changes. We're still getting compensation interviews. We're still getting requests for data. And in fact, we're seeing a lot of increased enforcement, actually, increased settlements,
yeah.
A lot of movement in the Southeast region, the Pacific region. So even though there's no OFCCP director, I don't know about you, but I think audits are continuing to move. OFCCP is still active.
Yeah, no question. I think it's going to be some time before we get an OFCCP director. It may not be until 2018 until we see an OFCCP director. One question that's been raised is whether or not the director is really an assistant secretary, and does that require Senate confirmation? And it'll be interesting to see if the Republicans put forward, or Trump puts forward, a nominee for OFCCP director that they're not happy with. Do the Democrats say, wait a second, this individual needs to go through Senate confirmation, which has not been done historically, which could then really delay, meaning the regions are still going to continue running with what they're doing. And I don't see a big change in enforcement in the next 6 to 9 months.
That's definitely been the trend recently.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of cases going to settlement, still seeing press releases. Last thing I want to talk about is, and I know this is on a lot of our clients' mind, is, and we're getting into the summer, what's going on with Vet's 4212 report and the EEO1 report. And the EEO1 report is really the million-dollar question. So where are we?
That is a million-dollar question. So I think actually going to your earlier question about vets, if you go to the vets website, it says, we're open for filing starting August 1st, 2017. So I don't think vets is going to change. I think we're going to have the same old protocol due September 30th, every year. So I don't think any change there. I know folks were expecting potential change with that new EEO1 report. But funnily, I know there was a lot of anticipation with a Republican leader, a Republican president, that maybe they would kill the EEO1 component to amendments, because that's what we saw many years ago with the EEO pay survey when we went from a Clinton administration to a Bush administration. But what we're hearing is that the EEO1 report is probably alive and well. And, we'll still probably go live at the end of March, or there might be an extension granted to contractors, according to Vicki Lipnick, that they would have some extra time to file it. So that pay component, that component too, is a part of the EEO1 report. We're hearing it's not gonna go away. There's a lot of reasons for that. We know Ivanka Trump, that's a passion point for her, and we know that she's very close to the administration and sort of what might be happening here in the Department of Labor, and pay equity is a priority for her, and we know it's become a priority nationwide, socially, culturally, legally, and so I think it might be alive and well, and contractors should prepare for it.
Yeah, contractors and non-contractors, right?
Absolutely.
Because it expands beyond just the federal contractor community. I give it a 50-50 chance at this point. And if you asked me 3 months ago, I would have said it's probably dead. Once the chamber sent the letter over to OMB calling for a review in accordance with the Paperwork Reduction Act, no word from OMB, and because I think Ivanka Trump is probably interested in this report, I don't think OMB is interested in killing it. We could see a repeal and replace, which is possible. But here's the problem: EEOC currently there aren't the votes, right? Because Vicki Lipnick is the sole Republican commissioner. Jenny Yang's term will be up in July, which there'll be then 2 commissioner spots. The president will then have to nominate someone, go through Senate confirmation. So my point is, there may not be the votes at the commission to get rid of or replace till maybe the fall or winter time. So doesn't look like OMB is ready to kill it. There aren't the votes at the commission. So as of right now, I think it's a 50-50 chance that we'll be filing. And I think employers need to start thinking about that and get ready for March 31.
I think so. If we haven't heard anything yet, it's worth getting ready for, and I agree with everything you just said. Yeah.
So a lot of things up in the air. No new director of OFCCP. I think we'll maybe hear something on that soon. Commissioners, we'll probably hear on that. I think the merger is probably dead on arrival, and EEO1, we may be reporting in March. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot for joining. Any closing words of wisdom?
Yeah, just be prepared for what may be coming, and don't forget OFCCP audits are still alive and well.
Thanks. Have a great summer.
Thank you.